What is going on, Jaguars fans? Welcome back into the Fan Cave, where we talk about everything and anything Jaguars. Once again, we are joined by the host of Jags Nation YouTube, Tyler Leslie. What's going on, Tyler?
What's going on, man? Just another day, ready to talk some Jags football, and I'm ready to get into it, man.
Let's do it. Let's jump right into probably the most heated discussion of all of Jaguars this offseason. It's what are we going to do at the left tackle position?
Now, we've talked a little bit about this in my video and your video, but we really never, dug deep into it. You can obviously re-sign Cam Robinson or tag him, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I believe he actually just deleted all his Jaguar pictures off of
Hmm.
Instagram. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to sign him to a long-term deal or tag him. So I think that option is off the table now. You could draft a rookie at 25, which I'm all about, or you could potentially trade for Orlando Brown from the Baltimore Ravens. But I'm not willing to give up the 25th pick or even a 33rd. More so, that later second round pick I'd give up for Orlando Brown. But it seems like the Ravens want it first, so I think he's off the table. I think the Jaguars need to go after left tackle Trent Williams, and I think they will.
Heck yeah. I'm all in favor of placing the transition tag on Cam Robinson. You at least have him locked down a little bit. And in the event that for whatever reason Trent Williams decides he wants to stay in San Francisco or takes another offer from another team, you at least have that safety netting of you can match whatever offer Cam Robinson gets and ultimately retain him, or get a good little haul back if whatever team offering him decides to stick with their offer and sign him.
Yeah, I'm all about that as well. I mean, Cam Robinson, he's not the best left tackle, but he can help a young team out. He's really good at run blocking. His pass blocking is very consistent. So he's not the worst left tackle. He's not the best. I'd say he's maybe slightly below average.
And hey, it's one of the most important positions in football, and I don't. And I'm starting to turn onto the side. I used to be a really big Sam Cosmi fan, out of Texas, but as I'm simmering on it a little bit more, I'm more of getting onto the side of I really don't want a rookie protecting our most important rookie of all time. And it's
Yeah.
like it's I don't know, it's just scary sometimes to think about having a guy that we know nothing about at playing at the pro level defending our golden child.
Yeah, I originally, if we weren't going to get to go after Trent Williams, I was all about potentially tagging Cam Robinson and even drafting then a rookie still at 25 or 33 and just let him sit for a year and kind of learn. Um, but in my opinion, I don't think they're going to do anything with Cam Robinson. And I believe Urban Meyer said like a few weeks ago that the offensive line doesn't really need to be blown up at all. I
Mm-mm.
think he said it's pretty good position, but you can't upgrade here and there. I think he's probably talking about a left tackle spot.
Absolutely. Now, we all agree that the left tackle position needs help. But what is another position group on the team that you really think needs the most help?
Oh, this is tough. I think there's many positions. The Jaguars are 1-15 for a reason. Obviously,
Hmm.
they did sort of tank, but they were still a bad football team. Even though we
Absolutely.
did have a lot of young promise and young talent, you're still not a good football team at 1-15, no matter
Hmm.
if you tank or not.
Exactly.
So for me, I will go with the defensive back
Mm.
position. You have CJ Henderson, who was inconsistent as a rookie. He had that great showing, week one against the Colts. He had a very good game against the Packers later on in the year, but he was injured throughout the season and he was very inconsistent. So you haven't really seen much of him. And if he was drafted this year draft class, I don't think he would have been taken first in the first round. Um, and then you obviously have Sidney Jones, who played very well, at times, but he was also
Mhm.
injured. There's a common denominator here, injuries at the defensive back position. So that's obviously if you're all your players get injured, you need to upgrade that right away. And then you look at the safety group, Jared Wilson, who in my opinion, I'm actually kind of a Jared Wilson fan. I see a lot of fans hate on him. He, I think it was Hayes Carline from 1010 a few months ago said Jared Wilson, he's not a playmaker, but he's not going to cost you a lot of plays. He's just kind of
Mhm.
there. He's an average safety. So, I mean, you can upgrade that, but it's not a priority. But also, you do need to upgrade strong safety. So, if you only have one out of the four, defensive back positions filled, that's not very good.
Oh, I'm actually with you on the defensive side of the ball, but I have a lot of I have faith in the defensive back position. Not really the safeties, more the corners. I believe Henderson played. He had glimpses of how good he can be, and Trey Herndon's always been that guy. You can count on him to be the number three. If you can
Yeah.
get a second one in there, I feel like maybe bump Henderson down to number two. Maybe he escalates to number one. But if you get someone to just kind of be that number two, kind of like almost how AJ Boye was whenever he came in, to just be the stopgap, whatever, number two, stop him.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
in my opinion, it's got to be the defensive line. You know, they couldn't stop a nosebleed when I when a defensive tackle not named Aaron Donald's leading your team in sacks. That says way too much about what kind of pass rush or lack thereof, rather, that the
Agree.
team is getting. And unfortunately, there are bigger holes, but as a group, that team that side of the ball just is lackluster and unimportant.
Oh,
But
100%. And to your point with AJ, like the AJ Boye and CJ Henderson, AJ Boye was really, really good all pro when he had a corner number one, a CB1 with him.
yep,
And I hope CJ Henderson can turn into that, corner one. But if he might only be that corner that needs a number one ally as well,
he might be. He might be just an AJ Bouye who needs
which is
someone to
fine,
overshadow him.
which is fine to have. But obviously, we would have to upgrade.
We absolutely would. So we talked about guys that need a lot of help. What position group do you think doesn't really need any help going into the season?
This is actually funny because it's on the defensive side of the ball, but it's linebacker for me.
Hmm.
Miles Jack, he didn't get a Pro Bowl nod. He should have. He got snubbed at that, as well as maybe even second team All Pro. The dude was all over the field, man. I believe he only missed like 2 or 3 games because of injury, but when he was on the field, that dude was top notch, one of the best linebackers in the league. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, he was on a 1-15 team. Of course, he's not going to get the recognition that he deserves. And then you have Joe Schobert. Obviously we paid him a lot of money, in free agency last year. In the first few games, he did struggle, but halfway on throughout the season, the midpoint to the end of the season, he was showing what we paid him, for. So
Absolutely.
those two positions are really locked down, especially with us now transition to 3-4. If you're talking about linebacker, Josh Allen's probably gonna be considered a linebacker. Chase On's gonna be considered a linebacker. And then you're gonna have Miles Jack and Joe Schobert. So I think overall the linebacker is probably set in my opinion.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. All last season, Jaguar fans were banging on the table, just yelling on the field. Get Chase on in a position where he doesn't have his hand in the dirt. Get him in like a 3-4 situation. And all signs are pointing to that. And I'm honestly so excited to see what Kayvon Chason looks like back in a 3-4. He was electric at LSU playing in that 3-4. We bring him here and it's like, hey, go play D end at 6'3", 200 pounds against a guy that's 6'6", 350 pounds. Like, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and
And
I think he actually tweeted 3-4 when we signed. Got Joe Colin to be our defensive coordinator. Like he
really
tweeted out 3-4, so I think like he was already excited about it.
nice. He knows, we know. We're excited to see what he does. Now, we were talking about how Miles Jack kind of got snubbed for the Pro Bowl last year. What is a player on the team currently that you think is like a sleeper pick for 2021's All Pro class?
I'm gonna go big or go home here, and I've seen some people on like Instagram and Twitter as him as like a fantasy sleeper sort of, but I'm gonna
Hmm.
go Laviska Shenault in the
Ooh,
slot. I think Urban Meyer can really make him a weapon. I mean, I think you're gonna see something similar to Percy Harvin, what he did at Florida with him.
okay.
I mean, and you look at he's not as fast as Percy, but he is so much bigger and stronger than Percy
Hmm.
Harvin, and he has very good hands. He's really good in the slot. He can come out of the backfield. He can go deep, and he can do a little bit of everything. And when you look at All Pro, is he going to be that number one or number two guy to make All Pro? No, but Cole Beasley, I believe, made second team All Pro in the slot for the Bills.
Oh,
So
money.
if he can, I think Laviska definitely can. So I think he is my definitely my big time sleeper to make All Pro.
Nice. I'm all aboard the James Robinson train. You look at last year and it was like almost like MJD's like when he led the league in rushing. It was like he was that good to lead the league in rushing against like 8 to 9 man boxes. And whenever you add, Trevor Lawrence and you look at potentially bringing in a true number one wide receiver, they're going to drag those corners and those strong safeties out of the box. And James Robinson's just going to go off this next year, and I definitely believe he's going to solidify himself as one of the top backs in the league, and at least at minimum make second team All Pro.
I agree. And if I had to put money like Vegas line, I would for the Jaguars who's gonna make All Pro. I'd go with James Robinson. I mean, people are gonna look at you're getting Trevor Lawrence. You're probably gonna get another receiver. You're gonna be a passing team. Yes, we are going to be a passing team, no question. But
Mhm.
is James Robinson probably gonna have less carries? Yes, but he's gonna have no 8-9 men in the box. He's gonna be able to have longer runs and all that, so he'll get more yardage and more
Mhm.
touchdowns. So I think having a pass game is actually gonna help James Robinson out even more.
Oh, it's going to be. Excited is the biggest understatement of the century. Whenever I talk about this 2021 Jaguars offense, I'm ready to watch it just literally blow the top off the league, and I might run around with my hair legitimately on fire after the first week one.
Well, you might go viral on that one, so definitely do it.
Oh, Hey, I'll be like, oh, what's the guy? What's the guy that like goes hurricane chasing and he listens to?
Oh yeah, I think he's from Jacksonville too. He's in
He is
Tag.
from Jacksonville,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna be the very next him. I'm sorry, I forget his name. If you're watching this, I apologize, but hey, you got the shout out.
Yeah.
We were talking about potential free agents that we were going to bring in, potentially being a number one wide receiver, a left tackle. What are some free agents that you would personally avoid and not bring on?
First of all, I'm all about getting a veteran, defensive back, but I don't want to get one that's over 30 years old, in
Mm,
my opinion. So like someone like Patrick Peterson, I think he has a little bit left in the tank, but I'm not going to go sign someone like Patrick Peterson because he's still going to be a little pricey. And you have other needs as well, and I'm not going to pay, $10 million for a aging corner.
hmm
Also the left tackle from Pittsburgh, I believe he's a free agent, so I'm definitely not going to want to go after him. I'm either about Trent Williams or probably get a rookie. So those are definitely two players that I would definitely avoid. And also is a running back. I do think we're going to get another running back, but through the draft, I don't want to go out there and sign, someone like Aaron Jones in free agency. So stay away
hmm
from the big time running backs that's going to hit the market.
Absolutely. I'm right on board there with you with Alejandro Villanueva.
Yeah.
I've recently I heard Tony Baselli have a take on all the left tackles that were coming out, and he was like Trent Williams, great, he's amazing. Russell Okung, if he can escape, he and come here, he will be serviceable. And then they were asked about Alejandro Villanueva, and he was like, no, no, that's
Yeah.
my analysis. No, he's bad. It's like the left tackle is just not a good position right now in the league. You have your top tier, and then you just have you have this like flooded area of just Cam Robinson level players where it's like, yeah, but are you going to pay him $20 million? And another
Yeah.
player is actually on Pittsburgh who they did just restructure Big Ben, but hopefully he stays with him because I don't want him coming to Jacksonville. It's Juju Smith-Schuster, and it's like after AB left, it was like, okay, now you're the number one, and he was more known for dancing on logos than he was actually making plays on the field. And it was like you look at him and it's like, okay, yeah, he has the name recognition, but when you watch him play, you're not afraid of him.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
afraid of AB. I'm afraid of Mike Evans, Julio, even Allen Robinson. I'm not afraid of Juju.
Yeah.
You can throw Trey Herndon on him and he'll go 5 for 40, maybe a
Yeah.
score, and it's like
Yeah.
okay.
I agree. The only way I would sign Juju is obviously Juju's going to want a lot of money, but the only way I would do something is like 3 years, 24 for Juju if we can't get, one of the top receivers, in
hmm
free agency. But I would definitely stay away from Juju. I think Juju's a good receiver, but I think he's a number two receiver. I think he needs a number one next to him to be, that 1,000-yard receiver that he was at one time.
Absolutely, you need somebody to just draw a little bit of attention off of him. But
Yep.
all right, now it's time for everyone's favorite game. Way too early AFC South power rankings. What you got?
Number one for me is the Tennessee Titans, just for the fact that you have Derrick Henry, and until we stop Derrick Henry, they're going to be number one probably in my power ranking.
hmm
And obviously they won the division last year, so that also gives them another nod as well. I mean, you got AJ Brown, who is a great receiver. You got Ryan Tannehill, who's playing good, a decent offensive line. Their defense is not very good, but overall they do have a pretty solid team and pretty decent coaching for the most part. So they are number one in my power ranking. Number two, I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. For the main purpose is their defense is nasty, and also they
hmm
probably have the best offense line in the NFL. And they have a good running back and Taylor, and they don't have very good receivers, but I think they're going to go after someone in free agency or the draft. Then you have obviously Carson Wentz, who is their quarterback now. Who I don't think Carson Wentz is that good, but I think if you give him the right team, he can be good. You've seen what he did with the Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl.
hmm
After before he got hurt, he was obviously on an MVP level. They had a good offensive line, good running game, good wide receiver. So I think he needs everything. He needs a good defense, offensive line, running back, and wide receivers. If they can provide him with all that, I think he can be serviceable and decent for the Colts. Number three is the Jaguars. Until I see Urban Meyer coach, who I do think Urban Meyer is going to be a great coach in the NFL, in my opinion.
hmm
And obviously, until I see Trevor Lawrence play for the Jaguars, I do think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a Jaguar and play great. But this is all I have to see it, first. Obviously,
hmm
I don't want to get ahead of myself. So I have to see all of those things first. And number four is the Houston Texans. No need to explain there.
No, they are an absolute dumpster fire. Um, the only thing I would tweak with your list is, I definitely do have the Jags number two,
Yeah.
and I'm tempted to almost do like a 1B, which is crazy whenever you're talking about a 1-15 football team where it's like you did nothing last year, and it's a team in the Tennessee Titans that have gone to the AFC. They have represented the AFC South, I believe, the past 2 years. in the playoffs. But I'm big on the fact that Arthur Smith leaving is going to have a big effect on Ryan Tannehill's game. At Miami he was a run of the mill, whatever, middle of the pack quarterback, and now whenever he came into Arthur Smith's system at Tennessee, it was, oh wow, he's really a system quarterback. He plays really well in this. I'm interested to see how well Tannehill plays outside of Arthur Smith's system. That's why I do have him. I want to put him as a 1B, the Jaguars are, but I'm going to have to settle for number 2. And because honestly, if you gave me Carson Wentz or Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'm
for sure.
tempted not. And if it wasn't for Derrick Henry and how good the Tennessee Titans defense is, they would be my number one. And obviously, I'm a homer. And if any Tennessee Titans, Colts, or Texans fans watch this, they're going to laugh at me and say, this clown thinks that a 1-15 football team is the best team in the division. But definitely, I go Titans, Jags, Colts because I don't like Carson Wentz at all.
Yeah,
And then there's the dumpster fire that's in Houston. I'm not even giving them the credit of their name. They're just the dumpster
yeah.
fire.
After free agency in the draft, I definitely put the Jaguars at 2. But this is, obviously we haven't drafted anyone, signed anyone, so I
Mhm.
put them at 3 for that reason.
I get that. I get that. But hey, I really appreciate you coming on, man. It was great as always, and I hope to see you again next time.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for
Heck
having
yeah.
me.
So let everyone know about how to find you on social.
First things first, find me on Twitter. I'm pretty sure he'll put a link below in the
Mhm.
description, as well as my YouTube channel. We've done other videos on my channel, me and Jags Fan Cave here, and I'm pretty sure we will have another one up pretty soon on my channel as well.
Absolutely. I can't wait, man. But as always, stay safe and go Jaguars.
Go Jags.